So listen, I know Brock Purdy is a great quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he's the future of the 49ers. But no one compares to Joe Montana. So guys, today I have Joe Montana on the San Francisco 49ers with updated rosters, with Ricky Parcells, and also, you know, the rest of the team that's really freaking good. So today we're going to see what ends up happening when you add Joe Montana back to San Francisco 49ers, this time with Kyle Shanahan as the head coach. You know, one of the greatest quarterback minds in the history of football. He's not the greatest, but he's up there, top 10, definitely. How this video turned from this is a potential hate Brock Purdy video to now a hate Kyle. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, though, I do like Brock Purdy. I think he's a great quarterback, but, you know, hey, listen, it's Joe Montana, man. Okay, Trent Williams goes down the first game of the season, and apparently the Jets just absolutely blew out the 49ers with Joe Montana at quarterback. So that's a great way to start off this video. Now they played the Minnesota Vikings, who started off the season losing with J.J. McCarthy. All right, so can we get our first W of the season here, boys? I'll be honest with you, that 44-38. Jeez. That Jets game, though, I don't know who's going to win. If Rodgers plays the whole entire game, it's very possible that the 49ers end up losing that game. I would not be surprised. All right, New England. They lost the first 3 games of the season, and now they get a beautiful heavy dose of Joe Montana. What is going on here, bro? They lost CMC. So they lost for more than half the season Trent Williams, and they lost CNC for 5 weeks. And we lost to the 0-3 Patriots. This whole, Joe Montana energy is supposed to be a positive energy. All right, they beat the Cardinals, but another guy goes down. They lose Aaron Banks, and they lose Elijah Mitchell. So they lose both their starting running backs, their left guard, and their starting left tackle. So 2 out of 5 linemen are out, and 2 halfbacks are out too. Montana's coming back to absolute, destruction of a team falling apart. All right, 4-2, and now he gets to play Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. And he, survey says, loses by 2 points, 35-33. That would be a game of the century. Obviously, it could never happen, but that would be a game of the century between those two. And Dak Prescott beats Joe Montana. So far, going into our bye week, we are 4-4. We currently lead the NFC West. And now we play the 8-1 Buccaneers led by Baker Mayfield. And we lose 13-7. Okay, now we play the Seahawks again. Gonna be a tough game. We beat the Seahawks 34-7. Now we play the 7-3 Packers, who always has issues with the 49ers for some reason. And we beat the Packers 31-28. Okay, so this is interesting. Now we play Josh Allen and the Bills. It's like the perfect season, in all honesty, for Joe Montana to come back to life here. He gets to play all the greatness. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. He also apparently gets to play against Caleb Williams, who is 10-2 in this franchise. What's going on here, man? And he beats Caleb Williams. Okay. So he's going to win the division at least. Yeah, okay, there we go. So he wins the NFC West. That's, I guess, a positive. He plays Tua, who's 11-3. Loses to Tua, who's 11-3. Plays the 9-6 Lions, who are trying to make the playoffs here. And potentially just got knocked out by Joe Montana. And now week 18, he plays the Cardinals. And he beats the Cardinals 51-17. Interesting. All right, so let's take a look at final stats. Montana had 4,200 yards, 44 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. CMC, even missing 11 games of the season, still got 1,000 yards. Freaking best running back in football. And now he's the cover of next year's Madden. Sacks, 13 sacks, 6.5. We have 5.5. We have 2 sacks. Interceptions, led by the linebackers. Let's see what the stats look like for other teams here. So, passing yards, blase. Patrick Mahomes led the NFL, and then it was Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Joe Montana. Most passing touchdowns was Patrick at 51, and then Montana at 44. If you're wondering why I'm saying Montana over and over again, Waterboy, Adam Sandler. Look up the clip. Anyway, though, so that's why I keep saying Joe Montana. Joe Montana. All right, Bears, wild card. Come on, it's Caleb Williams. All right, we won. I'm not as confident that we're going to beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys are a tough matchup. Good thing is, Cowboys do choke in the playoffs. That's the hope. Come on, Joe Montana, baby. We lost. We lost by 7. Dang it. To be honest, I don't know. See, here's what I would say about this whole situation, right? And if I'm going to probably take older players from the past and bring them to the future, you know, in other videos as well. But what I will say about this whole situation is, when Montana played, it was a completely different NFL. If he did play nowadays, and this doesn't go just for Montana, and by the way, the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in the end anyway. This goes for across the board a lot of different players. But a lot of the older players, they did play nowadays. I don't think they would be as good as people think they would be. Like Montana, Marino, you know, Elway. Back in their era, they were dominant. Hall of Famers. The best you could have. But some of these players, and it got a little bit better after the 80s and 90s, but some of those guys had second jobs. Like they had, you know, they were mailman, they were like plumbers, they were construction workers, and they played football on the side. So, you know, compared to nowadays with all these crazy great athletes, I mean, you have defensive linemen who are running 4.5s. Like, you have offensive linemen running 4.5s. It's insane how athletically gifted it is nowadays. I don't think a lot of these players could withstand, even these Hall of Famers and great players, could withstand how great nowadays is with some of these players. I mean, I'm sure some can, like, for example, LT, Lawrence Taylor would still be an absolute cocaine cowboy, right? But like other players, I don't know. I don't know how well they would do. I think quarterback, they would probably do fine, but I don't know, because you take one hit from like an Aaron Donald or a TJ Watt or Myles Garrett. I feel like some of these older guys, I mean, even in their prime, I don't know, because I'd say that, but then there's also players, like, they had players back then that were dominant too. I mean, Reggie White played back in the day. You had Jack Youngblood. You know, you had all these guys. So, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, guys. I'll see you guys next one.